Hello and welcome to the second round of the 2017 León Cupra Eurocup online. This time we're at the lovely racetrack in Silverstone, Northamptonshire. My name is, in England of course, my name is Ed. You can call me Edward Hunter if you're not into the whole brevity kind of thing. I'm with my friend and sim racing commentator Jack Pickering, or Pico if you are into brevity. So Pico, second round, yeah. Unfortunately we missed the final of the first one, but very exciting track here today, and it should be a great day. Two races we're in for in the next couple of hours.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is an absolutely amazing facility, and even though we've heard a couple of things in the last few days or so saying that Silverstone might terminate the F1 stuff, it's still a fantastic racetrack, and it can always bring a surprise in whatever series.
Yeah, of course. We can't really speculate too much on the Silverstone rumours now, of course, but in the virtual world it's certainly just as renowned as it is in real life. And speaking of course, our championship we got going on, we had some very interesting results from the first race, the first two races rather. We had a final A, and then we had a reverse qualifying grid for final B. And currently leading the championship at the moment on 69 points is Pablo Lopez, who I believe he scored sort of middling, definitely top 5-ish kind of results in both finals. Is why he's leading at the moment. Close behind him, only 1 point down, is Marc Perez, who also scored extra few points for qualifying. I believe he qualified second on the grid, and did extremely strongly in the first semi-final, I think. Well, this is the second semi-final, sorry. And then we've got Pepe de la Harris, who's been doing well in the semi-finals yesterday. Actually won the second one quite comfortably as well. He's third in the championship on 65 points. And then we've got Miguel Balester, who's a big favourite. Just missed out, was the bridesmaid last year, second in the title hunt. Lost out to Christian Kwiatkowski in the final round, and he won the feature race as well. Essentially, if you're thinking it like a Formula 2 race, it's a feature race in Barcelona. He won. Didn't do quite so well in the reverse grid race. It was a little bit messy, but he's still on 61 points, still well in the title hunt. Then in fifth we have Esteban Tellez, the Colombian. In sixth we have Jairo Borges, the American. Won the reverse grid race. He is on 54 points. Jairo Borges on 54. Tellez is on 56. I forgot to mention that. Then we have Kwiatkowski, who I mentioned earlier. He's the reigning champion of this series, essentially, from last year. Even won in the real life car when he got to drive it with Jordi Dunay. I believe it was I think it was one of the circuit tracks in Portugal or Spain. I can't remember which, but he did extremely well in a really long endurance race there in León, in real life one. He's at the moment on 50 points. Also on 50 points, Carlos Fidesz Expo. Juan Gerardo, also fairly strong in some of the races. He's on 48 points in 9th, and in 10th we have Jose Miguel Rosillo, who's on 46 points. And lots of other talented drivers just behind, the likes of Adria Perez, Carlos Lagadera, Javier Polanco, Daniel Buller, and Fran Castano, making up the top 15. So, as for right now, we're just watching, I believe this is practice just before qualifying starts. Oh, we are in quali. Sorry, I misremembered that. I thought the briefing was still going on, but we are in the middle of quali with 15 minutes to go. Actually, who's set the best lap at the moment? It looks like Marc Perez has 2 minutes 6 second lap. Of course, a lot longer than F1 car lap, as you'd expect, because it's essentially a touring car, but still impressive times considering the machinery under the right foot of each of these drivers. As we watch Miguel Balester. Is he about to finish? Good lap here. He's green on both first and second splits. What time is it going to be? Yes, it's the fastest time. 2 minutes 5 seconds. Half a second up on Marc Perez's time. It's 2 minute 5.637 there. And he's just gone into the pit lane now, obviously abandoning a future round. So let's we're on the screens we just picked up with Marc Perez. So he's trying to regain that pole position again, of course. So Jack, could you take us through the lap here? So he's coming in through Luffield now, isn't he? Onto the old start finish straight and about to go into Stowe. But no, not Stowe, Cops.
No, on his lap right now. This is going into turn. Oh, we just cut away from it there.
Oh
But
no, I think we're still on it.
oh,
Yeah, he's just going
I'm a bit
into.
behind you then.
Ah, sorry then. Okay, so he's just going into Maggots Beckett's now, I believe we're seeing. Lots of cars on track right now, all of them trying to improve their position. So let's see. Smart Pro is I think he's just clearing, going on to the hangar straight now, as he's going through Chapel, which is the last corner of the Maggots Beckett's Chapel section, of course. It's a really tough section, really sudden change of direction. It's basically a left, right, left. So it's really tough, especially when you've got an F1 car. You've got the downforce, of course, which helps with really sharp change of direction. But in a touring car, you haven't got that luxury, so you really have to keep the minimum speed up. You really have to push quite hard and really be quite careful with your movements on the steering wheel. Anyway, on my screen, I'm just watching Mark Perez just about to finish the lap now. Is it going to be anyway? I don't think it's going to quite challenge Miguel Balesta's time of 2 minutes 5 seconds, but yeah, he's still half a second down, so he's not improved. Who else is doing alright? Let's go through the rest of the qualifying order. Remember, the top 5 here will score a few points, which might help them in the title race. So Christian Kiniewski is in third on a 2 minutes 6.176. Only what's that? Only less than 200 grips, I think, behind Mark Perez. So very close there in the battle for second place. And of course, 1 extra point there if he can get past Mark Perez, Christian Kiniewski. Then we've got Pepe de la Jerez in fourth on a 2 minutes 6 seconds 353. Then we I'm just seeing Christian Kiniewski is up on the lap he's on at the moment, by enough to take second, but only just. So we'll have to see if Christian Kiniewski can keep the tyre in this lap. He set a purple sector 1 actually, 34.2, which is the fastest of anybody so far. So let's see what time he sets in the second split. Looks like a really good lap by Christian Kwiatkowski right now. We're still watching Mark Perez on the monitor, I believe. Yeah, where was I on the order? Behind Perez set 2 minutes 6.353. Then it's Edra Perez 2 minutes 6.487 in fifth, and of course he's set to be the last one who'll score some points in this quali session. Then we've got Jair Borges in sixth. He's set a 2 minutes 6. Have I messed up? It's Borges who set the 487. It's Perez who set the 2 minutes 6.360. So yeah, about a tenth ahead. And it looks like Kwiatkowski didn't quite pull that lap off. He was 3 tenths down in the end. It's a little bit of a shame, but watching Mark Perez on a better lap here. Let's see if he can close the gap or perhaps even get in front. Although Balesta has just set a fastest sector 1 on the time he's on at the moment, so even if Mark Perez beats that time, he could beat. Yeah, in fact, he reduces it by about 2 tenths there, so he's just under 4 tenths behind Miguel Balesta now on a 2 minutes 6027. While Balesta's still on the 2 minutes 5.637 he set earlier. So it looks like he's still going quicker still. He's 34.1 in the first sector. Going through Maggots Beckett's Chapel now, on to the hangar straight. He's still up, I think. Yeah, as the fastest second sector as well, 54.890. So this could be a real impressive time if he can just put it off through these final few corners. Okay, through Stowe and into Club, which is the last section of the track. Just under 10 minutes remaining, so it's been a real action-packed 5 minutes so far, but still, it's only a third of the session. Yeah, so anyway, Miguel Balesta just finishing the lap now, and what time is it? Let's see, on the monitor. Yes, it's a 2 minutes 5 second .4, so he's now, he's only a little bit, but it's now a full 4 tenths. It was almost 4 tenths before, but now he's 4 tenths ahead of Pepe de la Jerez, who's in second. Christian Kwiatkowski is in third, Mark Perez in fourth, Adria Perez fifth. So, any action further down? Any big gains or losses, Jack?
Not that I can see. Carlos Perez is on a lap right now, and it's personal best up in the first sector. Also, Roberto Gonzalez is on a good lap as well, but not much is happening down there at the moment.
Ooh, this is interesting. It almost looks on my screen like it started raining. I wonder if that is going to be a factor here in stopping
Does look
drivers
quite
from
dark
improving
out on
times.
track. Does
Yeah,
look quite dark.
I'm seeing drops. I'm almost seeing drops of rain, and I really wasn't expecting. I didn't realize we had weather enabled in this series. Although, of course, it's Silverstone. If it was going to rain anywhere, it would be in the UK, wouldn't it, Jack?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we can see little jet trails coming out the back of these cars. It looks very wet to me, but it could be that we're seeing something different to what everyone else is seeing. But I'm not too sure on that. But yeah, so
Yeah, it does look. It looks extremely hazy out on track right now.
Of course, these cars are equipped with road tires, of course, so they're built to deal with different conditions. But even just having moisture on the trails, you see the big rooster. Is that just brake dust at the back of the car in front? As we ride on board with Pepe de la Heras, trying desperately to improve his time, but looks like the conditions are battling against him, if anything. But yeah. 8 minutes left of the session. If this weather affects it, there may not be enough time for it to dry out, really. Unless it dries out really quickly, this is just a passing shower. And this could make the race very interesting as well, if it indeed does carry on into the race. Of course, it's one thing having rain in qualifying, having rain in the race with a grid full of cars trying to get through turn 1. We see someone going a bit wide there in the pale orange car. I'm not sure exactly who that is. Didn't quite get a good look as we're running on board with we're spectating Kevin Siggy in 8th place currently, looking to maybe break into that top 5. Very unlucky Kevin Siggy in the second semi-final yesterday to just lose out to Pablo Lopez at the last corner of the last lap. So he's definitely got something to prove today. No one is on better laps. Everyone seems to be about a second or perhaps even 2 seconds down some of the guys further back. So as we see, the conditions seem to have dried out a little bit visually on screen. There's not so much mist around. And yeah, it looks to me like the rain may be easing off, although there's still little droplets on the edge of the track here. I don't think it is eased off quite enough yet for drivers to be on better laps than they were at the start of the session. So it looks like I really don't see anyone challenging Ballesta's time here. Even Ballesta himself, half a second down on his current round as we see, Juan Gerardo getting on the curbs and spinning out. Yeah, so still a bit treacherous out there, especially on the curbs, of course, because that's where all the standing water gathers, isn't it? 6 minutes left of the session, of course. A big rush out, so I wonder if we're seeing a lot of track evolution, that it seems to be changing every minute, and drivers not sure whether they should get out now and maybe hope that the track dries up during the course of their lap, or maybe they're thinking that the rain might come again and they need to get the lap in while it's still relatively dry. All very difficult decisions to make for these guys. I wouldn't want to be in that driving seat right now. Or as we see, who's this who's going straight through the gravel? I think it's Ronaldo. Yeah, it's Ronaldo. Oh, Ricardo, yes, Ricardo, sorry, I misread that completely. And, yeah, he's safely made it through the gravel, though. Yes, Ricardo, I can't quite read that second name, but, he seems to have continued now. Matero, yeah, there we go. Matero or Cetero? I completely misheard that. But, anyway, yeah, we're having a little bit of technical trouble on this end, sorry, it means that Jack is sort of, can't quite see what's going on. I can still see it though. So I'll try and fill in until we can sort that out. But yeah, only just under 5 minutes left of the session now. Lots of drivers still out on track. Only Ballesta still in the pits, as well as Adria Perez, Pablo Lopez. Oh, Adria Perez has just gone out there actually. Pablo Lopez still in there, as well as Jamie Clavaggio, Gabriel Chacon, Carlos Perez, and Kike Palmer. Everyone else is out on the track, except the top 3 of all this sort of pit. They seem to be making mistakes and going back into the pits quite quickly, so it's quite hard to pick up. But it seems that everyone is no one's really improving at the moment, so there's not really much to talk about. Yeah, 4 minutes remaining. So we'll just see if anything happens, and we'll let you know if it does. Okay. So we just got an update from race control. I believe they're going to restart the session. They're going to have a 10-minute qualifying session, we're hearing. And it's going to be sunny, because the weather, apparently, they didn't expect. They're a bit put off by the rain, which I didn't expect, of course. They think it's some kind of scripted event, they're saying. Right, so we'll just have to wait until the session restarts. And in the meantime, I'm going to try and sort out where Jack has gone to, why he can't connect to me. So we're just going to take a short break here while the session is restarted. So it won't be gone for too long. Hopefully, see you in a minute. Hello everyone, sorry about that interruption there. We're back for the remainder of the qualifying session for the 2017 Seat León Cupra Eurocup online final at Silverstone, round 2 of course of the current championship. And all the times have been erased I think on the time board. I'm not sure if they'll be reinstated later from the earlier session. But we had a bit of rain that came in, really disrupted things. It wasn't planned, it wasn't foreseen, and it's caused the delay of course, the rain. But the clouds are cleared now, miraculously, and we're set going again. So we're already just waiting to see what happens now as the drivers all fill out, are finally able to set a time on a track that isn't infested with water. And that's always a good feeling, isn't it, Jack, to come out and the track isn't wet when it was before.
Yeah, of course it is. It's perfect conditions for the cars to go out and try their hardest, try and set the perfect lap possible. And that's all what
Gabriel
qualifies
check on, go straight on, just out of the pit lane and go back to the pit lane instantly, and that was kind of a little silly. But I'm sure he'll get his outlap together. It's not hard. Like it is a long lap here at Silverstone. About isn't it like 4 or 5 kilometers, isn't it? And
yeah, I think it's 3.
Yeah, it's
like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot longer than say a Formula E venue, which is usually down to about 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, or something like that. So yeah, it used to be an older airfield.
I know that much.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the long straight at Baku, you wouldn't know it, but but the
it's 5.
Yeah, well, actually, I've just contradicted myself. 5.9. That's it. Yeah, no wonder I was messing it up there. But anyways, we see all the cars streaming out. Very bunched together actually. It seems like none of them are really hanging around, or trying to give each other space. So let's hope it doesn't lead to any. As we've got run by Kwiatkowski, second in the queue at the moment. Let's hope that there isn't any tears a bit later on. 8 minutes left in this session. We're seeing crossing the line and about to start their flying laps now. So let's just stay on board with Kwiatkowski as he begins the lap. Crossing the start-finish line around about now. And goes up to Abbey. The first corner, vicious right-hander, can really, especially in the wet, it can be very vicious. In the dry, relatively straightforward. A little bit of tyre smoke coming out the back there. Goes through into the loop, the new section that was built at Silverstone a few years ago, during the shortly after they upgraded the shortly before they upgraded the Silverstone wing, wasn't it? Yeah, because it was 2010 for the Formula 1 race where they had this new section built. He's going down the Wellington Straight now after negotiating the 2 hairpin, kind of 90-degree hairpin-ish turns. Very well. Going into Brooklands, very tight left-hander. Easy to get the braking wrong for Brooklands. You brake a little bit too early, a little bit too late because it's such a long corner. It leads into the long Luffield as well, which is also incredibly long right-hander, and you can easily get offline, especially when you're making an overtake. It's very easy to go offline, and sometimes you have to do that. But anyway, Kwiatkowski on a decent lap right now. Sector 1 is a 34.8, so not the quickest we were seeing before the rain shower hit earlier on, but still a decent first banker lap. Let's hope the rain doesn't reappear. I doubt it will, because it seems that the admins have sorted that all out now, or the weather gods have rather. But yeah, as we see Yellowcup spinning off there. I wonder if that was Gabriel Chacon again, making a mistake on his outlap, and he seems to have stopped by the side of the track and gone back to the pit lane. But yeah, I really hope he didn't hold anyone up there, as Kwiatkowski's still improving on his lap. He looks to be the fastest man on the track at the moment, I think, Jack?
Kwiatkowski? Yeah, currently at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, he's just coming in to finish his lap now. Just under 6 minutes left of the session, of course, so time for... If Kwiatkowski's just going to carry on without going back to the pit lane, he's got about 2 or 3 laps left, doesn't he? Most? As he... Yeah. That's the fastest time. 2 minutes 7.5. So lap. That is about... yeah, so... 2 minutes 7.5 is about 2 seconds slower than the fastest times we've seen from Ballester, which was 2 minute 5.6 in the... earlier in the same session, of course. So, funny enough, Ballester hasn't come back out yet. He's he's on an outlap right now, and actually setting purple times, a tenth faster than Kwiatkowski, although Pepe de la Heras has also beaten Kwiatkowski's time and gone a tenth faster on a 2 minute 7.487. Remember, this is all important. This is still all important because there are still those points on offer for the top 5. I think it's if you get on pole, you get 5 points, and then it goes in decreasing values all the way down to 1 point for 5th. If that makes sense. So, who are we watching right now on the screen? It looks like Javier Polanco, who is set a decent first sector, about to set his second split in time now as well. What's Polanco's time? He's about half a second down on the leaders at the moment. Balesta, I missed that completely. Balesta's actually set the fastest lap, gone purple in all sectors of a 2 minutes 6 second .7, so about a tenth, about still a second slower than his fastest time earlier on, but he could still got time to match it, I guess. 4 minutes left as we watch Polanco in 17th at the moment, but I suspect about to improve somewhere near the top 10 as he goes through club, the last corner. Making sure he hits the apex on the inside, crosses the line, and what time does Polanco set? It is a... I haven't seen it. Oh, is he just starting a lap? That's why I'm getting confused here. Sorry about that, everyone. That's a bit embarrassing. But he's starting the lap now, and he's just gone through Abbey and the 2 loop hairpins. Onto Spruce 30s, onto Wellington Straight now. Big long straight. That's going to be a decent overtaking opportunity in the race if you can get a good run out of the hairpin. Maybe make a move into Brooklands. As I mentioned, you sometimes have to go offline down the inside when you're making overtaking moves. That may seem, although that may seem obvious, I guess. But let's see. His first sector time is the first sector time for Polanco is a 35.0. So not the fastest we've seen, but Polanco seems to be improving all the time as we watch him. Half a second down on Balesta's time, 2 minutes 6 from earlier. Only man in the 2 minutes 6s at the moment, Balesta, as although in fairness we've only seen about half the field set lap time so far. As we see Edward Perez has just set a very good lap time, half a second, 4 tenths rather off of Balesta's time, a 2 minute 7.222. And Pepe de la Heras is still in third on the 2 minute 7.4. Kwiatkowski in fourth on the 2 minute 7.5. Perez in fifth on 2 minute 7.6. And those are the top 5 who are going to score points from the session at the moment. Although the Celestino Sanchez, who I've not seen too much of before, actually doing quite well in 2 minute 8. Let's hope that he can build on that. As we're watching Pepe de la Heras in the middle of the lap now, going Brooklands and approaching Luffield as well, going a little bit faster, although Kwiatkowski has set a purple first sector, 34.5, so just slightly faster than Balesta at the moment. Let's see if he can hold that through the rest of the lap as we watch Pepe de la Heras. He is just approaching Cops right now as he goes through. It looks like Pepe de la Heras is actually 2 tenths down on Balesta at the moment, but oh no, that's Perez. It is de la Heras who's 2 tenths down, and it's Kwiatkowski and Mark Perez who are setting the timing screens alight right now. But all of them going fastest in the second sector here. 55.41 for Pepe de la Heras, 55.54 for Kwiatkowski, and a 55. Oh, there we go. So it's all going a bit off right now. So Christian Kwiatkowski has just gone fastest, 2 minutes 6.6. Mark Perez is in second with a 2 minutes 6.7. Miguel Balesta down to third, 2 minutes 6.7. Yeah, so only a 600ths faster than Balesta was Mark Perez on that last lap. Then Pablo Lopez in fourth, and Pepe de la Heras in fifth. So Pepe de la Heras wasn't quite able to keep the momentum going. Balesta 2 tenths up now, 0.246 up at the moment, currently in third of course, but he is on a real fly here, purple in both the sectors he's gone through so far. As we watch here at the end of the lap, with time counting down. Everyone. This is going to be Bless's last lap now. So can he get on pole? This is going to be crucial here. He goes through club. Oscar Connors can't afford to get anything wrong now as he blasts towards the line. And what is the time going to be? It is fastest. There we go. 2 minutes 6.555. Only a tenth ahead of Kwiatkowski. Less than a tenth, I think. Just about a tenth. 99 hundredths, basically. So we'll have to see who else is on a quick lap here. If they are still.
We can't see anyone else challenging for pole, but we could see a couple of upsets.
Only Andrea Perez is still out there, and he's seeing a time about 4 tenths slower than his best, and that's down in 7th. So I think we've got our grid set, I think. Although let's just watch Chacon through the last corner. Go through club here. Is Chacon? He's up actually on his approved size, 18th at the moment. Is that Chacon or am I? Gabriel Chacon, yeah, it's showing him 90th on my screen. So there we go. He didn't improve in the end. It's not, well, at least not enough to get in a position. And I think everyone has run out of lap time to set more lap times now. No one else on a lap time at least. Although we see in 17th is that Roberto Gonzalez, yes, in 17th, going through to the last corner now. He's a little bit down, I think. About a second and a half down on his best. So I don't see that changing either. Anyway. So I guess the grid we got at the moment, Miguel Balester on pole on a 2 minutes 6.55 as mentioned. And then we have Christian Kwiatkowski in second, a 10th down. Mark Perez in third on a 2 minutes 6.7. So he's in turn a 10th down on Christian Kwiatkowski. So very close between the top three. Then Pablo Lopez, really close to half a tenth down on Mark Perez in 4th place. Then we have Jairo Borges.
4th to 5th.
Oh yeah, 4th to 5th. Jairo Borges, 4 thousandths of a second behind Pablo Lopez in 5th. And so Jairo Borges, of course, the reverse grid winner from last time. So he's getting a point from qualifying this time. So that's really going to help him in the championship fight. And we've got Pepe de Harris in 6th, who's just missed out on scoring points in this session, but there's still a race to come, of course. Andrea Perez in 7th, Kevin Siggy in 8th, Celestino Sanchez in 9th, Daniel Antequera in 10th, Juan Gerardo in 11th, Marek Cieslak in 12th, Ricardo Otero in 13th, Ricard Espinosa in 14th, Jaime Clavijo in 15th, Roberto Gonzalez in 16th, Victor Urula in 17th, Javier Polanco in 18th, 19th is Antonio Sanchez, 20th is Andres Santururo, 21st is Gabriel Chacon, 22nd Miguel Angel Diaz, 23rd Isidro, just missed out, sorry, it took me too long to read them all, so Isidro Beneles was 23rd, and Jack, what the hell is going on with that microphone? I'm sorry everyone, Jack's microphone's been on the blink a little bit, but yeah, anyway, as I was saying, it was, I think Isidro Benetino, sorry, was 23rd, Carlos Perez was 24th, Kike Palmer was 25th, or Kike? I don't know, it sounds a bit rude saying it the other way, but 26th is Carlos Castillo, to bring up the rear, I think. Yeah, because it's just to set the grid order, which is the same as qualifying. Well, anyway, about having a go at you about the mic, Jack, but it was being a little bit obnoxious. But anyway, so that's our grid. Impressive by Balester to pull it out right at the end there, under huge pressure, of course. Odd circumstances due to qualifying being rather delayed like that. It doesn't look like the times from earlier have been reinstated, so that was qualifying. I was a little bit confused how they were going to play that, and I think they made probably the right move in the end there, because the rain kind of, there would have been people who were on good laps there, and then the rain came down, and it wasn't supposed to come down, because it's not supposed to be rain. But anyway, so we're just into a short practice session, and we'll just see. This practice session is essentially the warm-up. Doesn't mean anything. And so yeah, we'll just be waiting for the race to start. Should only take about 15 minutes at most, this practice session. And the times will be 5 minutes. It is only 5 minutes. Sorry, I misremembered that. But yeah, definitely not long till the start of the race, which should be very exciting. And yeah, so I think Balesta, at least at the blistering times to get on pole, I think Kwiatkowski could challenge him a lot here. We see Mark Perez in third, definitely looking like he could score a lot of points here as long as he can hold off the likes of Lopez. Lopez seems to be very good at judging his overtakes here. Borges, of course, reverse grid winner. We might want to watch out for him more in the second race. I guess he could potentially make up ground here, or at least finish in fifth would be a very good result for him. Pepper Harris, I think, might be slightly disappointed considering he won his semi-final, effectively the heat, you know. And I think he would have hoped to maybe get up there where Mark Perez, Pablo Lopez were in third and fourth. But of course, it was very tight with the margins there, so it wouldn't have taken much to get into that top 5 and score a few qualifying points. And yeah, I think with a lot of we haven't seen big grids yet. I think you see 26 drivers all in all in the race about to come up, so I think we could potentially see a lot of drivers battling for real estate and maybe 1 or 2 accidents if they're a bit pushy with each other. Although I hope we don't see too many. I always like to see good, clean racing. Anyway, sorry, apologies about Jack's microphone from earlier. I think he's just sorting it out right now. Just a little bit of reverb and feedback and something, I don't know. But yeah, but anyway, lovely track, Silverstone, of course. Lots of high-speed corners. It's changed a lot since the early days, of course. It held the first ever Formula 1 Grand Prix in 1950, of course. It was run by Alfa Romeo, Farina, of course, Dr. Giuseppe Farina, who of course went on to win the first ever Formula 1 World Championship in 1950. Very different to how it looks now, of course. Of course, there's the new section with the Wellington Straight and the loop, which wasn't really used back then. So it was always more just an airfield with very few kind of chicanes or anything to really slow down the drive. I think Beckett's Chapel still existed, but everything else looked incredibly different, of course. And of course, back then, the starting position was just before COPS on the old pit lane that was used up until about 2010, I think. And yeah, as Jack mentioned right at the start, of course, a lot of rumours going around that the British Grand Prix could be dropped. I mean, we've been here before with Donington Park, of course. When there was 2009, when there was a lot of hype about Donington Park getting a contract for the British Grand Prix, and of course that went rather south rather quickly and almost bankrupted and ruined Donington. Thankfully, that circuit still exists and is used today. Another excellent track we have in the UK that holds lots of stuff with superbikes as well. Silverstone also holds World Endurance Championship as well, and what else does Silverstone hold? Yeah, too many to count really. It's a numerous high profile.
It's the biggest motorsport facility in the United Kingdom.
Well, your microphone's still breaking up, Jack. I think you might have to do some kind of pop filter on it or something. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. Well, only a couple of seconds left, I think, to the end of the session. We're seeing 2 drivers fighting each other here. Not sure who they are. Too close for comfort already. What I was worried about, drivers, bumping into each other, which was not quite what we wanted to see in terms of good, clean racing. But anyway, Mark Perez topped that session of 2:07. And the race is about to begin, so we'll get warm-up lap. It will last about 2 minutes or so as they slowly warm up their brakes and tyres, and then the race will begin. So I'm just seeing, yeah, those 2 cars, the teal green and the orange red-ish one, crash into each other. So obviously they're just playing around, and hopefully they won't replicate that in the race. Yep, so a big chance here for Miguel Balesta to make inroads on the championship. And And of course, the likes of Kwiatkowski is a bit further down, of course, to make his own inroads, and it's Pablo Lopez who needs to defend his championship lead. Well, it is very narrow, of course, over Marc Perez and company. So we should see the grid forming up in a few moments' time. Yeah, in fact, just under about a minute, I think. Yep, I'm not seeing the grid forming up just yet, but it seems everyone's in the pit lane, probably just still thing being... Ah, there we go. See the grid being formed up. So anyway, Jack, are you back now?
Yeah, should be. Or at least for...
Oh, there we go, that's better.
Another, like...
Sorry about that.
Like, another minute.
Right, so I think the formation lap's about to begin, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's make the best of it.
I'm only 30 seconds behind now.
We have got another race after this, so you better... There we go. Got the ripcord tied up. Is that the fan blowing into the microphone, Jack?
Still
doing fan in your room.
Hang on. I've pushed it to the other side of the room. I have pushed it to the other side of the room. I can just about feel it. And yeah, and it's still doing it.
You could open a window, you know? That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, the window's been open for the last 48 hours and it does nothing. There's absolutely nothing.
Huge heat stroke. Anyway, formation lap beginning now, so Leicester and all the cars behind him will be... It looks like a fairly quick formation lap, actually. Yeah, it looks really quick, actually. It's not the race beginning, is it? No, it can't be. Sorry, a bit of confusion there. But Leicester clearly just not hanging around and wanting to... I guess the best way to get brakes and tyres up to speed is to go fairly close to racing speeds. Yeah, it's actually going to be a pretty quick warm-up lap. Well, maybe he's going to slow down a little bit later on, so that he isn't waiting on the grid for ages for the guys at the back to catch up to him and get on the grid. Is what I would do anyway. But, yeah, but anyway, apologies again for the issues with Jack's microphone and the fan blowing into it. Only hot air we want to hear. There we go, weaving down the straight. That's more like it. And yeah, so definitely lots of temperature and heat into those brakes. The tyres aren't too cold either, so looks like everyone is pretty well set for the start of the race. It's going to be very exciting to see who holds the lead down into the first couple of corners, because that could well be decisive in the opening stages anyway. Right, so they all form through. Top half of the grid done now, we're just waiting for the second half to come in. It's still important for them, of course, to finish the race. They can still score points, even if they're a bit far back. Every point you can get might make the difference, staying in the title hunt and not being in it. So, the light's just about to come on now as tension builds. Here we go. They go out, roundabout now. As we see, Leicester makes a clean start here. Kwiatkowski alongside, but not quite able to pull ahead. And meanwhile, 5th and 6th right together. That's Lopez and De Jerez. Oh no, Lopez and Borges actually fighting for position. I think Borges may go through. Someone going very wide there and has been crashed out. I wonder who that is. It might say on the timing screen somewhere. But Leicester still holding the lead from Kwiatkowski. Marc Perez in 3rd. Joe Borges in 4th. Oh, Borges is still battling with Marc Perez for 3rd place now, so Borges has made a really excellent start here. And Kwiatkowski actually right in the tow. As you see guys going 3 wide there. Coming out onto the Wellington straight, and Ballesta weaves across to defend from Kwiatkowski. He's able to keep the lead though, which is good for him. As we go into Luffield, and we see still 2 and 3 wide and really battling here for 5th place. Yes, 5th place here. We're watching Lopez, who's stuck in the middle of Pepe de la Harris and Heo Borges. Borges actually losing a few places now after that really good getaway from the line. Borges in the red car at the back of this freeway foul here. And Ballesta just leading from about a 10th, I think, from Kwiatkowski at the moment. But it is very narrow at the front. As but yeah, I'm not sure exactly who it was who we saw crash. I believe it might have been Juan Jurado, who's still running.
It was.
Yes, it was Jurado. I wonder who made contact with him. No doubt the stewards will be investigating that as we speak. But as we cut the first lap nearly over now, as we've got Ballesta about to enter Stowe. Kwiatkowski's still right on his boot tails, or coat tails rather. You don't have tails on the boots. But and Perez actually keeping with them as well. Big gap from Perez to De La Harris of about around about half a second. So heading into club now, Ballesta really may have to drive a defensive race here to keep these two really strong drivers behind for the duration. All 10 laps. About to complete the first one though, so only 9 more to go. Yeah, here we go, the gap. So Kwiatkowski 4 tenths down on Ballesta down the straight, and then we have Perez a full second down on Ballesta. So all within about a second.
There was a brief yellow in sector 2 on the first lap, however, that has changed back to green.
Yes, and we're seeing Carlos Perez actually in the pits now. So that's going to be disastrous for his race. I wonder if he made contact with Juan Jurado. Gabriel Chacon also in between them. It's possible that all 3 of those drivers may have come together and suffered damage. We don't know.
I think Chacon and Perez might have been involved in the accident in sector 2.
Yeah, it may have been 2 separate incidents then. But anyway, we're watching Sanchez in 8th place defending from Daniel Antequera. And Andrew Perez not far behind either. Bit of a gap from Sanchez to Kevin Siggy in the red car ahead of him. Kevin Siggy just sticking to the back of Borges. I think Kevin Siggy was the red car I saw earlier. I got a bit confused between the two of them. But yeah, there we go. It must be Borges in the white car actually. Ooh, very close through cops as Sanchez really trying to keep Antequera in the mirrors. They're getting to make it spec. There isn't really anywhere for anyone to make a move here as we switch to Borges. And yeah, Borges really going to be a bit disappointed losing ground after that start, but he's still within touching distance of Pablo Lopez, who's the championship leader, remember, at least going into this round. And Ballesta, I think he's just set the best lap of the race actually, 2 minutes, yeah, obviously heavier with fuel than in qualifying, 2 minutes 13, but it just shows that he is starting to really try and pull away from Kwiatkowski, although visually Kwiatkowski is still right on his tail. Kwiatkowski can't be letting up that much either. Field starts to spread out now a little bit. Not seeing quite so many close battles and too wide as we did on the first lap. But the race settling into its rhythm, and the drivers all trying to make sure they get to the end in the best position possible, as ever. That's lap 3 now, so 7 laps to go. The races, they feel a lot longer than they actually are, the amount that happens in them sometimes, especially reverse qualifying grid races. Oh, as we see a battle here actually, of Victor Irula and who's that number? Who's fighting with Irula? Who's in the order? I can't see anywhere, but yeah, that's for 13th and 12th place. I think it was Sanchez he was just fighting with there. Or was that Sanchez ahead of him? It may be yeah, maybe Clavjo that it's definitely Clavjo right behind him at the moment in the green car. Yes, it looks like Clavjo may be lining up a move, exiting Luffield. Clavjo aiming for the outside, but Irula sticking to the inside, so I think Irula should be safe here from not losing us another position. Yes, it looks all neat and tidy now. Maybe Irula can even think about fighting back for 12th place if Sanchez makes a mistake here. So Sanchez is roughly Doesn't look like it could be. It looks like there's a bigger problem behind, to be honest. We switch. Yeah, this is the other Sanchez, Celestino Sanchez, in 8th place at the moment. Sorry if there was some confusion there. Okay, we just got a message from the race director. Pablo Lopez is being ordered to let by Jairo Borges because of contact in turn 3. So Borges did actually unfairly it's been deemed to unfairly have lost that contact there. And this may be a bit controversial because Lopez goes leading the championship, doesn't want to give an inch to Borges, but he's being ordered to. Could be big repercussions if he doesn't let him by. So I suspect Pablo Lopez, we are going to see him let the white car of Jairo Borges through in a few moments' time. Where is he going to do it? I think the Wellington Straight might be the easiest way.
Certainly, certainly at the end of the straight on the brakes, it would be easiest just to make sure that Kevin C does not have any chance whatsoever.
Indeed. So we'll just have to wait and see. So watching the leaders go through the straight at the end of Wellington Straight now, and he hasn't moved over. So Lopez still keeping that 5th place. He would have heard the instructions certainly, as we see. Ooh, who's that? Is that Sanchez, Celestino Sanchez, defending from Daniel Antequera? A good little battle list for 8th place, and Ezra Perez not far behind either. We know Ezra Perez is a fairly quick driver as well, so I think that yeah, I think Celestino Sanchez almost got caught out there, and big gap ahead, so I think Celestino's definitely defending at this moment. The turquoise, yeah, that's definitely a turquoise car, number 26. Not colourblind yet, but yeah. Anyway, the gap up front. Last lap, Miguel Balesta was a 10th down on his best lap, which was 2 minute 06.796. So we are getting back down to qualifying times now. Kwiatkowski's best lap is a 2 minute 7.014. And the gap between the two of them is 2 tenths, so it's very narrow, and Marc Perez is 3 tenths down on the both of them, and only. So I actually think Marc Perez is giving Kwiatkowski more trouble than Kwiatkowski is giving Balesta trouble, if that makes sense.
There's been a lot of track extending down at turn 1. I'm not sure what.
Oh, Adrian Perez is dropping down the order rapidly. I just noticed. So something's gone wrong there, because he was right at the back of the Celestino Sanchez Daniel Antequera battle, wasn't he? He was in 10th, and now he's dropped all the way down to 17th. So something has gone disastrously wrong there. Maybe he's spun or taken some damage. Maybe it's the point you were bringing up, Jack, about track extending. It's easy to track extend too much, get a wheel on the grass, and then suddenly you lose several places. But Adria Perez is still going right now, as we see Jairo Borges finally being let through here at the loop, I think. Yeah, ahead of Pablo Lopez. So I guess it took him an extra lap. I think it's 3 laps is the amount of time you have to do it in. So yeah, it's a good thing that didn't It could very easily, if he hadn't let him through, it could have overshadowed the finish. But now they can continue to race fairly, and Pablo Lopez can take the position back without having to barge through and be penalised afterwards. Which is usually the best way to do it. So we're approaching half distance now on lap 5. Or are we at half distance already? I think. But
no, it will be half distance at the end of this lap.
Yeah, I think Borges might have a bit of a tough job to hold off Lopez for the rest of this race, because I don't think his pace is quite as good as his. It's good their best lap times. Yes, Pablo Lopez's best lap is, I believe, 2 tenths quicker than Borges's.
And also Lopez will be wanting revenge because he's had to, well, probably in his eyes, unfairly give up the position, so get back.
Yeah, he may be thinking, well,
ASAP.
Yeah, well, in NASCAR they say rubbing is racing, and this is not NASCAR at all, but, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I can definitely sympathise a little bit with Lopez, because it's one of those marginal things, you know. We saw at the start everyone was very bunched together, and it's very easy to sort of run someone out of room, or bump into them slightly when you don't mean to. It's all about just judging your racecraft here, and of course all of this has allowed Kevin Siggy in the red car close up and maybe think about taking a pounce on both of them if things boil over. So I think they're a little bit too well behaved to let that happen. And Verblaster still leading by 2 tenths over Christian Kwiatkowski. So he's definitely putting the pressure on, but I don't think Kwiatkowski is finding any cracks in the armour to exploit at the moment.
And, no, currently so far,
yeah, he was 3 tenths slower. Yeah, it looks almost like he was 3 tenths slower on that last lap, so I'm not sure quite how he can be 2 tenths down unless he's gained that up since the timing beam. Yeah, he's about 3 tenths down, it's showing here. So, yeah, and visually the gap has increased. So, where are the big battles going on at the moment, Jack? It looks to me like there's obviously
the battle over 13th place is hotting up quite a bit right now.
13th or 30th?
13th.
That's Roberto Gonzalez, isn't it? And Gabio Polanco, who is less than a tenth behind. And also Jamie Clavaggio. I can't pronounce it.
There's about 5. There's Polanco.
I'm just looking on the screen now.
Otero and Diaz, they're fighting from 13th, sorry, down to 7th. So 5.
I don't want to interrupt, Jack, but I think they're actually spread out a bit since then. Because I'm looking on screen, and it looks more like Gonzalez is actually closer to Victor Arula in front of him in the battle behind. So that may have just been your timeline, as we see.
Is a bit behind.
Oh, Gonzalez almost got a little loose over the curves there, getting into maggots, but looks like he had it all under control. Just keeps going and doesn't lose any time at all. So
I think the timing tower
just
on the
set
screen.
His best lap, I think.
Yeah, I think the timing tower on screen updates after every sector, whereas the timing screen that we have in the commentary box, that is mainly at the line.
Yeah. So we're into lap 7 now, as Balesta finishes it. He was actually 4 tenths, half a second down on his best lap there. Sorry, my mistake. And yeah, the gap is 1 second. Yeah, just over a second, I think. And the gap to Perez over the lead is 2 seconds. So still pretty close, but definitely Balesta driving superbly at the moment. 3 laps left to go, of course. And yeah, I don't really see too many moves. I think Lopez might fancy a go at Borges. Let's see how that battle's developed. He is about yeah, just about a few tenths down, I think. So it's still in with maybe having a chance, but he needs to time the move to perfection here. He wants to get back into that 5th place. Yeah, there we go. All 3 of them still very close on track. Wonder the frustration that's going on in Pablo Lopez's mind. You can feel that championship lead slipping away from him here. Unless he can maybe get past Borges. And meanwhile, let's see what's going on behind Lopez and Borges, Lopez and Siggy. There is yeah, it was a good fight going on. Polanco's pulled away a little bit from Leveggio, as we see Lopez and I thought he was getting alongside for a move there, but that's just them trying to get some clean air. And sort of, I think they're playing mind games a bit here down the straight, trying to look like they're going to make a move, but they're not quite close enough. That said, Lopez still very close to the back of Heo Borges. And all making a move here into club, but all having to back out there. There was some contact with the rear bumper of Borges. I think Lopez thought better of that and backed out as late as he could. Just got to be very careful here because Kevin Siggy, like a vulture in the wings, he really wants to pick up the scraps here if these two collide into each other. Feasty meal indeed in prospect if that happens. Pepe de la Hera is actually involved not that far ahead of this 5th place battle. Because if Lopez messes up a move, and it could put him offline and could allow Siggy through. So Lopez really is the man not in the ideal position. Yeah, Lopez again fairly close into Brooklands, but It looks like Borges is hugging the inside quite a bit. Although going into left field, it looks like Lopez is trying that. Just nibbling down the inside, but nah, it's not quite going to work for him. They're still glued right together, though. It's really fascinating to watch them tussle for that position. Meanwhile, we mentioned that Juan Gerardo basically was pushed off track at the start, and it seems that he's gone back up from 26th all the way up to 21st. Although we have two DNFs, Ricard Espinosa and Carlos Perez have both retired fairly early on, I think, after 1 and 2 laps respectively. And the last man on the road is Juan Carlos Castillo in 24th. But actually that's good for Gerardo. Maybe he'll get a few extra points for making his way back up the field on this recovery drive. But anyway, we switch to Victor Irula in 12th, who's in between Sanchez and Gonzalez still. I wonder if he is thinking of sizing up a move on the purple car of Antonio Sanchez. I was just getting my Sanchez's mixed up there. But yeah, we're into the penultimate lap now. Just starting. Lester's still going slightly several tenths below his ultimate pace, I think. 207.4 on that last lap, but slower from Kvyatnitsky, 207.96. So yeah, it definitely looks like Mark Perez actually might be giving more trouble to Kvyatnitsky than he had bargained for, even though he's about 9 tenths down, I think. So the top three still pretty spaced out. And yeah, the battle of the Borges Lopez Siggy train still raging on. And yeah, I think Lopez, knowing that time's running out here, maybe doing what he did in the semi-final yesterday, thinking of trying a very late move, maybe even at the last corner on the last lap once again. But ideally he wants to make it earlier than that. He moves out a little bit, thinks about making a move, but doesn't quite commit because he can't. There's no space. He's not far enough alongside. And I think Ballester has driven superbly now as he's approaching to start his final lap now. We see all that change of direction. It's always lovely to watch them. Borges just about holds on. And Borges still having to defend viciously from Pablo Lopez in the black car. Was Lopez going to try it again on the inside at Club? That was what he did before, and I think he's made it stick here. Yeah, Borges gives him the room, nudges in the rear, very frustrated, tries to get back through on the inside. Oh, this is really kicked off all of a sudden, and Kevin Siggy must be licking his lips now as he aims for the inside. All three of them right together, but Borges has somehow managed to stay in front. I think Kevin Siggy is going to get past Lopez here down the inside. There we go. Wow, that was real opportunism there. But Lopez kicked that off, but actually he's the one who's lost out here. Borges now really having to keep Siggy behind him, and Lopez in turn trying to get past Siggy again. Oh, very close there. And I think no positions have changed. Yeah, so the order is still Borges in 5th, Siggy in 6th, and Lopez down to 7th now, which is really bad news for the erstwhile championship leader. In fact, is Siggy going to make a move for 5th place here? He's aiming at the inside at Brooklands, but Borges covers it off. I'm so used to having Lopez in the middle there. And yeah, this is the last lap. I mean, it definitely feels like it too, the way these guys are battling. Yes, really, Siggy still inches away from the rear spoiler of Borges. The American is really going to have to pull out all the stops in these last few corners to keep Siggy behind him. Ballester must be closing in on the finish now to take a well-deserved victory. And yeah, still right together. I think Lopez launching last-minute attack here on Siggy. And can he get down the inside here? I think he can. There we go. Right through into Stowe. And that was really late move there by Lopez, but at least it helps him limit the damage, takes 6th place. And is Siggy going to try and get revenge here? Down the inside at Club. Oh no, I think he just braked in time and just tapped the rear. I think they're all going to finish like that. But Leicester wins. Kvitnicki 2nd, Mark Perez 3rd, Pepe de la Harris 4th, Jairo Borges in 5th by the skin of his teeth from Pablo Lopez, and Kevin Siggy in 7th. Then we'll wait for Celestino Sanchez in 8th, Daniel Antequera in 9th, Marek Sisolak in 10th, Antonio Sanchez in 11th, Victor Rule in 12th, well, he should finish in 12th. We'll see how that little battle he was in ends up. Roberto Gonzalez is going to finish in 13th here, Javier Polanco in 14th, Jamie Caravaggio in 15th. Then we have Adria Perez, Ricardo Otero, Miguel Angel Diaz, Isidro Benitez, Andres Centurioro. Oh, it's actually Miguel Angel Diaz just got by Isidro Benitez for 17th, sorry. And actually Juan Gerardo up into 20th, getting past Antonio Gomez, I think. Antonio Gomez and Gabriel Chacon changing position as well. So it's all really a little bit unfinished here at the end, but so 19th onwards, Andreas Centurioro in 19th, Juan Gerardo in 20th, 21st Antonio Gomez, Gabriel Chacon in 22nd, Ricardo Otero in 23rd, and in last Juan Carlos Castillo, and the 2 DNFs, Ricardo Espinoza and Carlos Perez. So that was race 1 then, and real action there in the battle for 5th place, but Miguel Leicester really had it sewn up as he did in Barcelona 2 weeks ago in the feature race, the first race there. We'll have to see how the reverse grid race goes though. It could be reverse qualifying grid race though. That could be very interesting with Miguel Leicester starting down in 10th. The whole top 10 from that qualifying session will be reversed. So we will see. I'm not sure who that puts on pole. I'll have to see when they reset it because I can't remember who qualified 10th. But yeah, some great racing there on that one especially, and also towards the end for 5th. Might feel a bit upset losing out to Borges there. I think Lopez did drive very sensibly when he realised that he had to give the position back. Didn't leave it too long. And yeah, so a couple of standout drives in that race, I think. Yep, so they're all just coming into the pit lane, and we should get a chance to see race 2 once they're all in. Any thoughts on the action we've just seen, Jack? Hello? No? Okay. Yep, I think he's gone off to get a drink or something, which is fair enough. I was just asking what your thoughts were on the race we just saw, and especially that exciting finish in the battle for 5th place. Do you think Kevin Siggy was unlucky to lose out on 6th place right at the end to Lopez? Ah, okay. Right, Jack's mic isn't working, that's why he's not been able to talk. Never mind. So, although it was a little bit, in the middle stages, it was a little bit follow the leader. In the second race we should see a fair bit more action. And, and so yeah, I have a lot more high hopes for the second race. We'll see even more action. So you might see Ballesta trying to fight his way through. We'll see someone else on pole, and probably one of the slightly slower drivers trying to defend their position, which could be very entertaining to watch, as it was in Barcelona 2 weeks ago, of course, in reverse grid there. And of course Borges did well there. He's definitely going to qualify he's going to be mid-pack this time. once again, so you could be able to get past the other drivers. Although I forget who it was who qualified in the lower ranges of the top 10. We'll just have to see. Of course, whoever qualified 11th, they're going to feel a little bit annoyed, even more than the guy who qualified 6th and didn't get the extra point. Yeah, well, I'm gonna stop talking for a little bit while we wait for the grid to form. In fact, I won't have to wait long at all, actually, because it seems like the server's just kicking over. Just a reminder of the points: you get 5 points for qualifying on pole and 35 for winning the race. So that is the score for Leicester at the moment. Of course, he only got 5 points in the semi-final B, final B rather, in Barcelona. So that's the only thing that's going to hurt his score overall relative to the others. He is definitely one of the hot favourites, or perhaps the hot favourite, to take the championship this year, especially if Kvyatnitsky doesn't have a stronger season. But we'll see. Kvyatnitsky did prove his worth in the past and may do so again. As weird as this is a warm-up session before the second race, because waiting to make sure they've sorted everything out. Of course, maybe 1 or 2 penalties going on. We never know, especially with the Borges Lopez situation. Well, Jack, we just heard that. I hope we haven't overrun with qualifying being delayed and protracted as it was, because that means the extra 10-minute session we are effectively running at least 10 minutes behind, maybe 15 minutes or so. I hope we still have time to do the second race. We should do. Not sure anyone minds too much of it.
Hear the fan in the background now, or not? Can you hear the fan in the background now, or not?
Not really. Only very faintly when you talk. Hello.
Woo! Push it back
Hello and welcome back to the second race of the second round of the Cloud Sport Seat León Cupra Eurocup online. I'm Ed. I'm with Jack. I'm still with Jack, and we sorry about that drop out there. We had a bit of a server issue where it dropped out on all of us, but we're back now and we're ready for our reverse qualifying grid race. And we're still just going for a warm up at the moment, so the grid hasn't formed yet. I was just being briefed.
Yeah,
ahead of this one.
Yeah, I'd just like to apologise. My my microphone failed on me halfway through that race, and I had no idea till after the end of that race. But then again, it meant that you didn't have to hear my voice, so there's a positive outcome for that.
No, every day without your voice is torture, Jack. It's just the thing that really sucks is the slight distortion in the background. But you know, sometimes I know it's not your fault. You can't help that. But
yeah.
But anyway,
it's called the British summer.
Oh yeah, that's purely to blame for all our circumstantial issues. But anyway, it says we're at Silverstone, it makes sense. But yeah, so anyway, it should be a very interesting reverse grid race. I generally, for the life of me, can't remember who qualified in 10th and who's, as a result, consequently on pole for this race that's coming up. But I do know that the back end, which is roughly going to be Leicester in 10th and Kwiatkowski in 9th, and then I can't remember. I think it's one of the Perez guys, Mark Perez in 7th rather, 8th. No, damn it, getting all the numbers mixed up. Gotta remember. Think in reverse. That's what these reverse grids. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how basically the two main overtaking spots we were seeing were basically near the back end of the circuit. It was Stowe and Club. If you got a good run out of Stowe, you could make a move into Club. As we saw, it was Lopez trying and failing on Borges, and then I think succeeding on getting the place back from Kevin Seagy, who'd also gotten by during the first couple of corners on the lap before. But yeah, a real nice way to end that first race with a big three-way battle for 5th place. Of course, Leicester won up front fairly comfortably.
Yeah, we had some great battles all the way through the field. It was a great race and absolutely dominated by Leicester.
Yeah, he's a great race, but absolutely dominated by. Of course, Leicester is a really superb driver, and these cars in this format seems to suit him right down to the ground. When we were doing the Road to Vegas Formula E qualifiers, which of course Leicester didn't get through, we saw in the race that he did in Paris. He only did one round in Paris, but he, I wouldn't say exactly disgraced himself, but he definitely became a bit of a roadblock because he elected to stay out on an alternate strategy for as long as possible and pit with about 10 laps to go or something like that out of a 60 or 50 lap race. And that really backfired for Leicester because it meant he didn't really gain any advantage. He had all this energy and not enough time to use it. And also he ended up...
I'd like to point out at this point I didn't actually comment.
I know you didn't, but I'm explaining to you.
Yeah.
I know you only did the last 2 rounds in Paris, was the second one. That was 4. But yeah, Leicester really, the Formula E car, he definitely didn't quite. You could tell he wasn't quite so comfortable with it. He was making a couple of mistakes, lost his front wing at one point, whilst being out of sequence, not having pit yet, and the leaders were all coming up behind him. All the red line guys, you know, Enzo Benito, Oli Pacala, and Gregor Hutu in reverse order, of course. But I'm just thinking in reverse order for the reverse grid race still, but yeah, they all came up to him, and basically they were trying to not trip over him, and sort of, especially when he lost his front wing, it was a real hand-in-mouth moment as Leicester went one way and Gregor Hutu went the other. And eventually, of course, he pit when he was around about where David Greco was in sort of the lower top 10 regions. I think about 11th or 12th or something like that. And yeah, of course, him concertining the pack enabled other drivers to make moves and whatever, but of course on a street circuit where there's not so much space to make moves, it's a bit more important when someone concertinas the pack, whereas here, wide open, it used to be an old airfield, as I mentioned before race 1. And And yeah, Silverstone is definitely one of the better tracks to overtake. Better than Barcelona, certainly, I think.
Old airfields make great racetracks.
Yeah, in Germany there's lots of older airfields that have been used as racetracks as well.
Yeah, Tempelhof. Yeah.
Of course, Tempelhof is one that springs to mind. Obviously, we're keeping on our Formula E track because it's one of our favourite championships. But also, I believe Avis used to be an airfield. And there's some in Austria. There's what's it called? Zeltweg. There, not the one where the Austrian Grand Prix took place today, but the old one, which used to be literally, I think, it used to be 4 corners. Literally, it's 4 corners. It's a big L-shaped track, and I believe that hasn't been used since the 60s. It probably doesn't exist anymore. Airfield, you know, for like actual aircraft. But but yeah, that's a short-lived track and another example of airfields being used as a racetrack. Silverstone probably of all of them the most well known though.
Yeah, for sure. This track's been around since 1947, I think it is.
That was when it started hosting British Grand Prix, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, it's just been a statement of the Formula One calendar ever since.
Yeah, of course. I think before Silverstone we had tracks like Brooklands, which was mainly for a big oval basically used for high speed attempts. Of course, these days Brooklands, a lot of it kind of built over and put into disuse, as we see someone going very wide into coming right to a stop in the middle of Beckett's. But
that's not a great place to park up. They could have parked.
Of course, in the Formula 1 race here last year, that was where we saw it in the mixed conditions. We saw, oh, hello, someone flipping upside down. That's not Ballester, number 4. Oh, that was spectacular. So you got some real entertainment in the all there. That was, I'm not sure who that was.
That was Lopez.
Oh, it was Lopez. Yeah, wow. So
the championship leader.
Well, he was a championship leader. I believe Leicester may have overtaken him now after winning that race. And I think Lopez finishing. He finished in 6th, so he would have gotten something like 15 or 17 points. I'm just guesstimating here because I can't remember exactly how the point system works. I know it's 35 for a win and about 31 for second.
It's a confusing point system, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's odd numbers, so, so bear with us. Well, mainly odd numbers. But it'll all get worked out after the race on Cloudsport's website, which is of course León cupraonline.cloudsport.es.
Oh, a bit of a slide coming out of Cops. I'm not sure who that was, but that was a couple
gosh, this is all inconsequential really because it's the warm-up. So even though Lopez flipped it, that was really just for entertainment or unintentional entertainment. I'm sure he didn't mean to do that. But perhaps just frustration over, potential 5th place slipping out of his grasp in that previous race.
Because if this was a real proper warm-up ahead of a race, that would have been curtains for Lopez and his chances.
Yeah, this is often why I find they don't do warm-ups in something like Formula 1 or whatever. They used to do a lot of morning warm-ups in like 4 practice sessions or something. Now it's only 3, and effectively, effectively you don't really have a warm-up session anymore. But not on the morning of the race anyway. You just get the warm-up lap to the grid and that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, the warm-up should be coming to an end shortly, and then
this has been long, so I imagine a very big debrief and rebrief ahead of race 2, or perhaps the grid is just being, yes, of course, just correctly pointed out to us by our third man that
our commentary producer.
Our producer in Aria, yeah.
Yeah.
But a very good producer who we worship and admire for his hard work on this broadcast. As we see someone spinning it out of Chapel onto the hangar straight, doing a big. Was that 270 or a whole 360 there, Jack? I thought that was. I think that was a 360.
Give me about 5 seconds.
That's a Castino Sanchez. No, not Castino. Yeah, Celestino, not Castino. Sanchez just doing a big spin. So drivers definitely in take crazy risks because it doesn't matter and we can just teleport back to the pit lane mode.
Yep, that was a 360.
Yep.
I remember Mark Webber doing something like that. I think it was at the start of the 2008 British Grand Prix, because he started on the front row, but however he was around at that section.
Oh yes, that was the
the really wet one where Lewis Hamilton absolutely dominated.
Yeah, it was Kovalainen on pole, I remember, and Webber alongside him that day. Of course, Kovalainen these days racing Super GT in Japan, and Webber, of course, recently retired from racing. Used to race for Porsche in LMP1 in the World Endurance Championship, and retired at the end of the last season. And
now currently works on the greatest on the greatest coverage of Formula One. So yeah.
In the UK, anyway, we don't know what other countries are like. In fairness.
Well, I'd say it's the best. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of inclined to.
Never mind. Yeah.
It's probably one of the less biased ones, Channel 4. But,
yeah.
Anyway, we shouldn't really be talking about other stations.
I'm very biased towards Channel 4.
Fair enough.
General, so yeah.
Everyone has their favourite channels for various reasons, and this warm-up session is still going as we watch Pablo Lopez back on track now, belting tyre smoke. Belting tyre smoke around the left field. Yeah.
I've just. I'm not sure whether you noticed this a bit earlier on. However, there was a car stopped on the hangar straight, and the number 20 of Carlos Perez had to take avoiding action midway through the final straight. We are just waiting on the race winner in race 1, Ballester, and then we will get this show on the road.
So he is, because we had the disconnection, of course, and we're still waiting for him to rejoin. So but yeah, I think Miguel Ballester we'll just wait for him, and as you mentioned about the guy stopping in the middle of Hangar Straight and Perez having to avoid him, I thought, or was it Lopez having to avoid? No, I can't remember. But it was one of the two.
It was Carlos Perez.
Yes, I think it's always a little bit annoying when you see that in R-Factor particularly. I used to do that a lot in Trackmania, but of course there all the cars are ghosts essentially, so you can't really run into anyone. At least I never found a game mode where someone was able to make the cars so they could collide with each other. That's the whole point of Trackmania, a completely different game of course, but mainly when someone leaves their car lying around the racing line in that game, it's more just to annoy people. Whereas in here, it's actually can be quite dangerous because it's supposed to be a bit more of a simulation. But but anyway, I think we've had at least 20 minutes elapsed now, and no sign of Miguel Ballester. And of course,
hopefully
we really hope he shows up soon, because he could lose a lot of points again if he doesn't do that reverse Scruder race. Although he only got 5 points out of the last one, so I have a feeling that Ballester is not quite so keen on reverse Scruder races, because that was what undid him in the end of the first series of León Eurocup, where basically he was leading the championship going into the final round. He made a bad start at Barcelona in the first race, and that let Kvyatnitsky get ahead and win. And then in the second race, reverse grid, it was a big mess. Kvyatnitsky got through unscathed, but Ballester and Wisniewski, who was the other guy in that pre-race championship fight, all got involved in collisions and dropped their back. Ballester had damage, and that effectively was his race over. Even though he got to the pits and repaired it, he was a lap or more than a lap down, I think. Kvyatnitsky basically made his way up from third into first. Oh no, he didn't quite win. He let someone else win, take their first win. It was Warner Barnett, I think, if I remember correctly. And Kvyatnitsky came home second, and that was all he needed to do. And Wisniewski also tried to fight for his fight his way through the pack. He didn't have damage at first, but he ended up at I think the camps of the chicane at Catalunya, which was just before turn 9, which was a really fast right-hander. He ended up getting alongside with someone and trying a bit of an aggressive move, and in the end Wisniewski came off really badly from that, ended up in the barrier. So it just shows when the title fight's on and it's the last round and you really need to make up ground, they really risk a lot, these guys, and it can end really well or it can end really badly. And I think Kvyatnitsky judged it really well last time. Of course, the luck played its part, but he still kept out of trouble. And so far this series it seems to be the opposite. Ballester has had the clean run, and it's Kvyatnitsky who seems to be falling in and out of trouble. Although in the race 1 he did really admirably, kept Ballester on his toes, I felt, even though he wasn't quite close enough to challenge. So
yeah, lots of Lots of tyre burning out on track from the footage I'm watching. Lots of sliding through the corners. We're currently watching Marek Kieslak, and he is drifting all over the place.
And of course, these guys, some of these guys, you know, the more they drive, the more they learn. You know, they learn not to kick the back out quite so much. They learn exactly where they can get away with, you know, taking really tight, aggressive lines, or where they need to go a bit wider, and getting their braking points exactly right. And it's really disadvantage for Ballesta, because sometimes when you're out of a session and you come back in, your brain needs a little bit of time to catch up with your hands and your feet. And
oh, someone was parked over at the end of Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think that was just someone just abandoning a run. Yeah, I think that's what they're doing when they did that. And we watch Celestino Sanchez again with a 30. This session could rail on all the way to the end if Ballesta doesn't show up. I'll take a look at the timing screen so that he isn't like lurking somewhere.
I think if he gets to a certain amount of time, they may just have to start the race without him.
Or they may have to abandon altogether. But yeah, I think he's not the only one missing. We have only 23 drivers in the server at the moment, so that disconnection.
There was 26 during
so he's
race one.
So he's lost three drivers, including.
Three drivers, haven't turned up as of yet. We've already had 25 minutes of this warm-up session, and there is 36 minutes more to go of it. So
yeah, I'm sure the stewards are trying to contact Ballesta in any way they can, through Facebook. So if anyone's watching, actually, if you're friends with Miguel Ballesta, please contact him via social media or something.
This isn't an appeal for him to like come home or something like that.
No, this is a manhunt.
Yeah.
We want our race to start. Getting a bit restless and running out of things to talk about, in all honesty. Anyways, we're in a bit of a downtime moment. I think maybe it's time to check the chat on YouTube to see if anyone has typed anything in it. Oh, you would be able to do that, wouldn't you, Jack? You're already watching.
Lots of stuff in Spanish.
Oh, all in Spanish, okay. Well, I got a D in Spanish GCSE, so maybe it's worth me trying.
Vamos is there. We all know what vamos means.
Yeah, vamos means go faster, basically.
Congratulations. Not much is happening. Not much is happening in the chat. But then again, not much is happening out on track, which is causing like the.
Yeah, it's a real honest reflection. I like to not invent drama.
Yeah. We're just gonna just like wait all the time for Ballesta to turn up.
Yeah,
but hopefully it will happen soon, and any updates we will bring you as soon.
Yeah, as soon as we get them. So I imagine it will become fairly obvious once he turns up.
Oh, my timing screen's just gone. So
yeah, same here.
I think.
Oh no, it's back now.
Yeah, it's back. However,
do you see Ballesta anywhere?
All the times have been removed. I don't see Ballesta out there.
We may have to start without him. Probably there must be a sort of 30 minutes, and if you don't show up, then we start without you. That seems to be the rule. And it's a big shame because Ballesta's not, like I said, Ballesta's not the only one who lost out there. There are a couple of others too. Vietnamski is still there. Borges is still there. Pablo Lopez is still there. Mark Perez is still there. Kevin Siggy, of course, we saw battling with them. Yeah, lots of the
cars are just being inserted.
And of course, because he's not there, they've had to redo the reverse grid, of course.
Yeah.
And so what we have is Daniel Antequera in first, because he was obviously he must have been 11th or something, but Ballesta gone losing up, I guess. Daniel Antequera is on pole with Celestino Sanchez in second, Kevin Siggy third. Kevin Siggy might have a good chance of winning today.
He was fighting Borges and Lopez in the first race, so he might be eyeing up that first place.
Almost beat Lopez, in fact. Andrea Perez in fourth, Pepe de la Heras in fifth. Yes, he's definitely high up in the championship. Was fighting with Pablo Lopez and probably has overtaken him, having finished fourth in the final. As we see the warm-up lap begins, with Antequera leading away the field. Borges starts sixth, the American. Pablo Lopez in 7th, Marc Perez in 8th, Christian Kvyat in 9th, and Juan Jurado will start 10th. So yes, actually I think maybe it's just a reverse top 9 then, because Juan Jurado, I seem to remember, was one of the guys who qualified around about the 10th spot. So behind Jurado we have Marek Cieslak, Ricard Espinoza, Jaime Clavijo, Roberto Gonzalez in 14th, Victor Rula 15th, Javier Polanco 16th, Antonio Sanchez 17th, Andres Centururo in 18th, Gabriel Chacon in 19th, Isidro Benitez 20th, Carlos Perez 21st, Juan Carlos Castillo 22nd, and Miguel Angel Diaz.
So we are down 3 people from we're down 3 drivers from the first race, but most importantly, we have lost Balestra, the winner of race 1 here at Silverstone.
Yeah, and I wonder maybe if he had some connection problems on his end as well getting back in, although I can only speculate as to why he's been unable to get back in the server. But it's a big shame, but you know, whilst one man, you know, has a connection issue and flounders, that means that those behind can take advantage. Game. I wonder if we're ever going to... Are we ever going to leave a race meeting with Balestra, probably one of the fastest men there, leading the championship? Because I think, arguably, in his mind, he probably feels he might deserve to. But having won the sort of the feature races, essentially. Although, I think the points for both races are roughly the same, yeah. You get 35 for a win in each, so... So anyway, we're coming to the end of that now, but noticeably, Antequera taking his warm-up lap a lot easier than Balestra was, I think. But that's how, as a leader, he decides and can set the pace. No safety cars, of course, in this, so if there's a big collision, you don't get the safety car to come out. I think mainly because effectively doesn't have safety cars, or at least there isn't a mod in the CloudSpot mod that we're using that uses safety cars. Anyway, coming around Club now, and Antequera, Sanchez right behind him, looking very aggressive already. They line up for their grid spots, and I wonder if Antequera has ever been this far forward on a grid. It could be uncharted territory for him. He has to keep his head together, doesn't he? If he keeps his head, maybe he can come away with a lot of points, or even a win. Who knows? So, last couple of cars filling in at the rear. Then we wait for the lights to come on. We switch to the wide angle here. See the heat haze building in the background. Race 2 at Silverstone is about to begin, and it begins round about now. As the lights go green, Antequera looks to have gotten away well. Ooh, but has Sanchez, and he's got by, yes. As they bump and barge. Ooh, who's that down the inside? I think
Kevin Siggy's into the lead.
Yes, as we predicted, Kevin Siggy making a brilliant getaway and taking the lead as they're going 3 and 4 wide into turn 3 here. Oh, and this could end in tears if they're not careful. Oh, it's a bit hard to tell who's who here, but it looks like Adrip. Oh, someone spins.
Antequera is dropping.
Yeah, I think that's Antequera who spun there, and
yeah, he's,
someone else being spun
dropping down.
Oh, really ill behaviour there on that first lap.
I think it's Gonzalez. Gonzalez is the other car that's...
Yeah, Gonzalez is in the green car there. Yeah, so the order at the moment is we see another move going on. I believe that's Perez getting past the other Perez. So Marc Perez taking Adrian Perez. And so Kevin Siggy leads by quite a few seconds now from Marc Perez, Adrian Perez. Christian Kvyat survived all that somehow and is in 4th. Juan Jurado is in 5th. Pepe de la Harris in 6th. Marek Cieslak in 7th. Ricardo Espinoza in 8th, Victor Rula in 9th, and Antonio Sanchez down to 10th in the end, so actually didn't lose too many places, but there was a lot. There's going to be penalties for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. As is the case with most series that have more than one race, the second race, or in like the British Touring Cars, the third race is always the craziest race of the day.
Absolutely.
Because all form of logic goes out the window.
And it's a shame because I really wanted to see Balestra making his way up the field, but sadly he's not here. And I think
he would have made it into like the top 3 already after that. After that
who
crazy
knows?
first lap.
Who knows? He could have got spun around if he was in the wrong place, wrong time. But Anyway, we can only speculate. So Christian Kwiatkowski looked like he was challenging Adrian Perez. So we've already had Marc Perez get past, and I wonder if Christian may be eyeing up a move into this next lap. Already building a gap to Juan Gerardo behind. Gerardo actually doing superbly well to stay out of trouble and get up to 5th place. So a lot of points on offer for young León. Well, I don't know his age, so he could be young, could be old, doesn't matter.
He's in the pits.
Yeah, there we go. So the erstwhile championship leader is today going from moderately bad to quite worse, very worse.
Sanchez in as well.
The both cars seem to have taken damage. As you see Kwiatkowski continuing to challenge Adrian Perez. We're looking, maybe he can get a good run onto the Wellington Straight here and challenge into Brooklands.
There was a huge amount of carnage going.
I'm surprised we didn't see any debris on track.
An Aintree. I did see a small amount of debris. However, it was offline at Farm and also down at the loop.
I just saw Kwiatkowski locking up behind Perez, so maybe Perez getting a different kind of pace to that Kwiatkowski would be used to from the first race, trying to keep up with Balesta, having lots of space in front of him. Now all of a sudden he has to take a lot of care not to run into the back of Adrian Perez, and ahead of all erstwhile Marc Perez is getting away, as is Kevin Siggy. I definitely, if I was Kevin Siggy, I'd definitely fancy my chances of winning this race right now. But of course, a long way to go. Still 8 laps, 7 after this one.
Lopez has officially been retired, Ed.
That's a real shame for him. He came in here with such high hope leading the championship, and now he's most certainly not going to come out leading it. But I don't think Balesta is either, so this could be really crucial. I mean, the likes of Kevin Siggy, the 2 Perez's, Kwiatkowski in particular could gain a lot of ground. And Gerardo, definitely not on the fancy one. Pepe de la Heras, I think, is a little bit out of position too, behind Gerardo. But Kwiatkowski continuing to put pressure on. And yeah, we'll have to see how that develops as the race continues. And have we lost pictures?
Sanchez is back out on track, however he's a long way behind.
Yep. Oh, we just seen a couple of look like position changes there for temporarily, but it may just be the timing screens splitting out there. And the order still is Kevin Siggy leading from. How many seconds is he ahead of?
De La Heras is pitted.
Oh, that's what's happened. Oh, so a lot of trouble for Pepe de la Heras as he drops from behind Juan Gerardo, behind Antonio Sanchez, who's gained a bit of ground here, behind Javier Borges, and down to 8th place. Although he doesn't seem to be dropping any more, there's a 15-second gap to Javier Polanco, so the front of the field there's definitely guys who are held up or in difficulty at the moment. There's that 15-second gap to Polanco, who's currently struggling a little bit in this race, but still in 9th place.
Just like to apologise if you did miss part of the action there. The stream did go away for a couple seconds, however we are
just
back.
ahead of De La Heras. It's Borges and Sanchez fighting for position there. And yes, unfortunately on screen our splits plugin isn't working quite so well, so we will have to rely on the timing screens to see how far away everyone is from one another. We'll just see their most recent lap time though on the corner, so that's at least something to work off of. Yes, but I believe the gap is Kevin Siggy is about 2 seconds ahead of Marc Perez at least. And then, yeah, there we go, you can see the gap visually. That's I think that's about a 4th going on there. Kwiatkowski stuck behind Adrian Perez still, we just saw in the foreground. We are watching Pepe de la Heras, as I believe did Borges get past Sanchez, or is Sanchez still ahead? Yes, I think Sanchez was still been able to hold off Borges in the white car, but I believe Borges is really pushing at the moment. Round the outside at Stowe, is this going to work out? He's alongside, not alongside enough. Oh no, he sweeps right in there. Sorry, depth perception fooled me completely there. A brilliant move there by Javier Borges. Take 6th place off of Sanchez. And let's see if Borges can make up more ground to catch up to Gerardo in the pink car, who's not far up the road. And of course Pepe de Heras is going to fancy his chance. I don't think Heras went into the pits. It may have been that he went a little bit to the right and the pit entry, and it maybe the computer detected him going into the pits. But
that might have been the case, because yeah, he's
a very
he's up in
pit
8th. However, the live timing did register that he had pitted. So yeah.
as we know, lifetime is a little bit screwy. And also retiring on the first lap, I think we missed that, was Isidro Benitez.
Yeah.
So he will go no further and score no more points.
I did see Espinosa and Sanchez also. Well, Sanchez pitted once again on the second lap of the race. So
meanwhile,
they are way behind now. However, they are.
Meanwhile, Daniel Antequera, who started the race in first place, remember, has dropped back down to 10th. So he is basically, the natural order has kind of sorted itself out and put him back to roughly where he would have been.
He was involved in the massive incident.
Yeah, I think he got spun around there. We'll have to see if I'm just checking if I've received any messages from the race director about any penalties for any contact. But they seem to be taking a very Liberty Media F1 approach, where it's just, it might be a 1 or 2 hits, but we won't penalise them too harshly, I guess, seems to be the current modus operandi. We switch back to Siggy in the lead. Look at that. A fairly big gap behind, although Marc Perez is still roughly keeping with him, 2 or 3 seconds behind. And then it's Marc Perez, Adrian Perez, and Christian Kwiatkowski all close together in that battle for second. And I think Kwiatkowski is probably thinking there's a big opportunity here to gain ground on Balesta, who was his big rival from last season. And Andre Kwiatkowski can find anywhere to make a move on the 2 Perez brothers. Well, I call them brothers, they may not even be related, but it's a very common name. But I reckon Kwiatkowski could be closing into a move in the next couple of laps as we reach half distance, 5 laps into a 10-lap sprint race.
And Kevin Siggy has got quite a big advantage over the chasing 3 of the 2 Perez's and.
There's some movement down the order. I believe Carlos Perez has just got by Marek Cieslak for 13th place. So I believe Cieslak dropping a few places now. As we're still watching Marc Perez, Adrian Perez fighting together, one behind the other. But yeah, even this crazy reverse grid race seems to have settled down a bit now. I say that, I'm sort of hoping that Kwiatkowski is going to make a move here, but
I think he's too far behind at the moment.
Yeah, and I think maybe if the 2 Perez brothers work together, they can effectively keep one can act as a sort of barrier to stop Kwiatkowski catching both of them. And the man who this really helps, of course, is Kevin Siggy, who's driven superbly since that start and seems to be really well on his way to winning this race. As we see, is that Victor Arula gaining a place in 19th, gaining from Celestino Sanchez, 20th. So all the little changes of position seem to be happening a lot further down. Actually, Arula is quite a long way from anyone at the moment, so I'm not sure why the timing screen showed that. But yes, we switch back to Juan Gerardo, who is defending from Jairo Borges for 5th place. And yeah, Gerardo, going very wide there at the exit of Stowe and getting away with it. I wonder if he's exceeded track limits in doing that and gained an advantage. But it could have just been a mistake. Maybe it's the moment you put the camera on him, he starts making mistakes. He's driven really well so far, even though there's a huge gap ahead. Gerardo, I don't think one of the quicker drivers, and he's just really. He's been like a 2 seconds a lap slower than. Is that his best or? Yeah. So, as we see Kwiatkowski and Adrian Perez briefly swapping position there in the battle for 2nd place behind Marc Perez. There we are. Adrian Perez on the inside of that must be Marc Perez. I think Kwiatkowski got past one or both of them.
Yep. He's got past Adrian Perez at the moment. So
but Adrian
still got to
almost finds a right back on the outside. I think Kwiatkowski has finally made the move and got very sorry we missed that. We weren't really sure when or if Kwiatkowski was going to make the move, but it seems he has most likely into club on that last lap. But yeah, anyway, now has this released Kwiatkowski to attack the other Perez and potentially challenge for the win, I wonder. So I wonder if Kwiatkowski now not feeling quite so comfortable that Kwiatkowski isn't quite so backed up. Though he's still got Marc Perez helping him out, of course. So let's just remind ourselves of the order. 4 laps to go. Kwiatkowski leads from Marc Perez, Christian Kwiatkowski in 3rd, Adrian Perez 4th, Juan Gerardo 5th, Javier Borges 6th, Pepe de la Hera 7th, Antonio Sanchez 8th, Javier Polanco 9th, and Daniel Antequera in 10th.
Yeah, good driving all around from the majority of them, especially after the first lap carnage. I think it's all just quietened down a bit, and I think we could see...
I think we'd expected the first lap carnage, because a lot of the drivers there are sort of out of position. They're not sure. They're not quite so aggressive, maybe, and they're sort of quite tentative in the way they. I don't want to say they're the worst drivers, because I always feel like that's an unnecessary insult. But I sort of feel that they're not used to racing with drivers who are used to going for every single gap, maybe, and perhaps there was a bit of spatial awareness issues, and one thing leads to another, and we got RG Bargy all around.
It's not an F1 2016 online open lobby.
No, definitely not. These guys are professionals, so
yeah.
So yes, I'm very hesitant to criticise them at all. But but yeah, the beginning was definitely a little bit. You could tell some drivers were being caught out there, and we're still watching that battle for 5th place, which has been joined. We've got Gerardo, De La Heras, and Borges all together on track, and just behind them there is a battle between Sanchez and Polanco still raging on, with Polanco right on the tail of Sanchez. That's Polanco in the blue car and Sanchez in the purple car. See at the rear of your picture. But definitely looks like we've got 3 little battles going on then. Out of the top, yeah, pretty much the 2nd all the way down to 8th, no, 9th rather. We're into 3 really close groups in the top 10.
Is it just me, or is Marc Perez closed right up to Kwiatkowski? Because according to our timing screen, a lot closer.
Yeah, it says he's 2 tenths behind, but I believe that might be from his best lap. It shows Kwiatkowski way out in front from Marc Perez.
Yeah, because
Marc Perez still got Christian
confusing.
Kwiatkowski for company.
Yeah.
So I believe our time screen might not be the most accurate. I think it may be still stuck on the splits from some of the earlier laps. As we are getting to the end of lap 7 then, 2 laps to go after this one. I think Kwiatkowski still in the box seats here, even if Kwiatkowski is setting faster lap times. And,
oh, actually, yes, I'm just looking at the best lap screen. Yeah, what's saying is the gap between them is actually the
yeah, a good last lap from Kwiatkowski. I'm not sure it's the fastest, but it's definitely up there. 2 minutes.
There's the Pepe de la Heras is in again.
Oh, he must have just. It must be the corner he takes. The line he takes into club goes very wide out to the right, and then he swings it into the left. I've seen some drivers do that, and as De La Heras, oh, has he actually gone into the pits? Because he's showing us dropping behind a bunch of drivers.
He is dropping
so
down.
Something has gone wrong
now.
for De La Heras. I wonder if the reason he wasn't able to get by it was Gerardo is maybe because he suffered damage in that opening melee at the start, and maybe now it's gotten so bad
he's not in the. Now it's registering him as
not in the top
10
10
pits.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, he has dropped all the way down to 13th at the moment.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happened to Pepe de la Heras as he retakes Carlos Perez actually. So I wonder if he's actually gone into the pit lane by mistake. Maybe the first time it sort of detected him, but he got away with it, and now he's accidentally gone into the pits and had to, go through the pit lane but not make a pit stop. I wonder, because that would appear to me to suggest why he's lost so many places. But yeah, that's mixed up the order a lot, and I wonder if Pepe is going to make up some places in these last laps against some much slower cars. It must be said, as we see the battle for second still raging on. Actually, Adrian Perez has been dropped off by these two, and Kwiatkowski really looking like taking that second place here if Marc Perez can't do anything about it. And if he does, you've got to wonder, is there a chance of a win here for Kwiatkowski? As they come down Hanger Straight, and I think he's making a move here. Yes, down the inside. Oh, they make contact there, but the positions don't change. Marc Perez able to defend by the skin of his teeth. And Kwiatkowski perhaps feeling a bit frustrated here now. He knows if he could just find a way by Marc Perez, there might be a sniff of a win here with, oh, it must be 2 laps. Is this 2 laps? No, yes, 2 laps remaining.
Yes, two laps remaining, and I think Marc Perez holding him off into Stowe. I think that's lost him any chance of the victory whatsoever, because he could have closed in on Kevin Siggy. However, now
remote chance
now I don't see any chance whatsoever.
Meanwhile, while we've been watching this, Pepe de la Heras has made up places after unforced error, a pit stop, or whatever happened to him. He has got back up from about 13th, got past Jamie Clavo, got past Andres Santuro, and we switch to him now. Pepe de la Heras is in 11th place and just about challenging the top 10. A good little battle here outside the top 10 actually between these drivers, Santuro, Clavco, and Perez just behind. Ooh, is that Santuro going for a bit wide there?
Oh, Espinosa has been disqualified. I'm not sure why. However, that's just come through.
Perhaps for track limits. That would make sense if he'd pushed it too many times.
I have seen lots of people extend the track limits down at tops, so that might be the reason why.
Yeah, so we didn't hear what happened to we've not heard what's happened to Ricard Espinosa, but of course that's a big shame for him. He was, you know, obviously with some of the retirements, even though he wasn't running in the top 10, there was still a good chance of points for him. But anyway,
he did actually pit at the end of lap 2, I believe. So
Kwiatkowski is again challenging down Hanger Straight into Stowe, and is he going to make the move this time? No, actually he's a little bit further behind. So I think Kevin Siggy in the last lap is definitely. I'd be amazed if Kevin Siggy loses this one. As we see Kwiatkowski fainting to the inside of the club, but not really making the move. And into the final lap. So it's difficult to tell where the big battles are. I don't think Pepe de la Heras might break it back into the top 10, which would be a decent recovery drive. Danny Antequera, as a result of Pepe de la Heras dropping out, has got back up to 9th. And Ran Huardo has been taken by Borges. I'm not sure where I missed that, but yeah, Borges found a way through. So we see Kwiatkowski, ooh, looking for the inside, now the outside, into the loop, and now back into Surtees, onto Wellington Straight. I really think it's going to be difficult though. There's just not quite enough time unless he's timing.
He's only got 2/3 of a lap left to do it, so.
Oh, but interestingly, sure. Kevin Siggy running into traffic now. I think that must be the last running car on the road, Celestino Sanchez, of course, who had a bit of contact earlier on. So
yes, and he's been through the pits twice already. So
yeah, so as we see just in the background, you can see Marc Perez about 5 or 6 seconds now behind Kevin Siggy, holding off Kwiatkowski. This is going to be the real battle, I think, towards the end. I don't think Polanco is close enough to challenge Gerardo. As we see Andres Santuro going red. I wonder why that's happened, because he's dropping down. Yeah, so something has happened to Santuro. As we watch in the dying moments of the race, Perez and Kwiatkowski still fighting each other for all they're worth. And I wonder if Kwiatkowski fancies the dive bomb here. This could be his last opportunity to do it. Down Hanger Straight. Siggy has cleared the back marker, hasn't held him up too much. Could Sanchez potentially play into this second place battle? We'll have to see in the next few seconds. Kwiatkowski once again not quite close enough to get past Marc Perez. Is he going to club? Is he going to dive bomb here? No, I think he thinks better of it. Ooh, yes he does. And so I think that's decided it then. Kevin Siggy coming through now to win the race, to win the second race, the reverse qualifying grid race at Silverstone in the León Cupra Eurocup online. Well-deserved victory for Siggy. Perez will take second, Marc Perez. Christian Kwiatkowski third, Adria Perez fourth, and now be a long gap, I think, to Borges, who was held up for so long by Juan Gerardo. Oh, as we see, oh, that's not good for Sanchez, who's finished now, obviously a lap down, but spinning off there in frustration, no doubt. And Borges is finished now in 5th place, with Juan Gerardo also managing to hold up a big train actually of Polanco, Sanchez Antequera. And then I think Pepe de la Heras were waiting for him. He did manage to break into the top 10 in the end, getting past Marek Cieslak. And so de la Heras just finishing now in 10th place. And then it's Cieslak, Jamie Klavgo, Roberto Gonzalez, Carlos Perez, Miguel Angel Diaz, Andres Santaruro, who dropped down towards the end there mysteriously, Juan Carlos Castillo, Gabriel Chacon, Victor Arula, and then Celestino Sanchez in the last of those running. Then we have Isidro Benitez and Pablo Lopez are DNFs, and Ricardo Espinosa, who was disqualified for reasons we're not quite sure, but we think it may be something to do with corner cutting or collision with another driver.
Something anyway, along those lines.
Yes, absolutely. So let's quickly reflect on that second race. Carnage at the start, but it sorted itself out relatively quickly, and then we saw mainly drivers running into trouble, really, and Kevin Siggy really taking advantage of there. Really, it was opportunism at the start that won him that race, and he built the gap, and he really didn't need to push it too hard, though he did set some pretty good lap times as the race went on. And he ends with the best lap of the race at 2 minutes 6.379. So yes, Siggy really stepped up to the plate here, Kevin Siggy.
I kind of thought that was going to happen, if I'm completely honest. When I saw that he was third on the grid, I thought, I think this is his race, and it was indeed. He absolutely dominated from lights to flag. So yeah. Great win for him.
I feel a little sorry for Daniel Antequera being spun round, but he did at least recover up to 9th.
So decent points for.
Yeah, I think Juan Gerardo, though Borges, he did have to give way to Borges near the end there. I thought he still did superb to come in 6th, but it's definitely a lot better than he was perhaps expecting from a reverse grid race.
And actually, in 10th place, Pepe de la Heras, who we are still unknown in terms of what actually happened there, but good to see him actually getting into the top 10. So that's not that bad a recovery drive. I think he must have just spun into the pit lane or something, because I don't think that would have been that he wasn't in pit lane for long enough, but I could be completely wrong. So, and
also the pit lane speed limit at Silverstone is a lot slower than other tracks, if I'm not mistaken, or that may just be for F1.
That's because it cuts off.
That's because it's shorter than the actual racing.
Yeah.
Station 9, but
cuts off the final
and of course,
3 corners.
Of course, of those who are less fortunate, let's spare a thought for the likes of Pablo Lopez. Of course, leading the championship coming in, it's definitely going to be a very different picture now. And if Pablo Lopez wants to retake that championship lead going into the finale at Red Bull Ring, he's going to need to do an awful lot of work now. But anyway, that's Silverstone. Check back at the Seat León Cupra Eurocup online website to find out the results in terms of the championship standings. Yeah, that's what I mean. Because the results could be changed, after, but in the penalties and stuff. But anyway, thanks for watching. Me and Jack have really enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll see you in the future. Next race is Estoril, which is in a few weeks' time. So goodbye for now, and thanks for joining us with the Seat León Cupra Eurocup online at Silverstone. Goodbye.